and colors make a lot of money. Thank you.
That's the one. Yep.
Amen. So we'll definitely have this ready. Again, within the same 48-hour timeline, we should already have this ready for you guys by Friday, so that way all of the notes and everything would be available there as well. So yeah, so this is good. This was good, Mr.
Hey,
Tony.
I have a
good.
question. Can I ask one question?
Please.
Please.
Go ahead, Princess.
It's Stedman. I had for the options, you mentioned that with the way the action was happening, it ate up premiums for today and for Friday. Are there any other adjustments that you would make? Like I've heard people mention purchasing options at the end of the day versus in the morning, so you don't have to worry about, data and all of those good things. Do you have any?
I mean, it depends. So if you're playing 0 days, which is very risky because they expire the same day, on options, if you buy in the morning, you want to sell in the morning. You don't want to hold throughout the day, because as the time goes on throughout the day, the data is going to, eat away at your premium, basically, depreciating the value of your contract. So like, if you're seeing a move happen that morning, and it makes a big move, let's say you jumped in a contract that was $10 and the stock makes a big move and now you're up 20. And let's just say you hold that contract throughout the day, but the stock just trades sideways for the rest of the day. You're going to see that value of your contract start to decrease just because that stock is trading sideways and isn't giving any type of momentum move. So, you want to be careful with that. And then end of the day, I know, a lot of people that do this, they'll, trade in the morning and then they'll make your money in the morning really quickly or whatever. Or even if they don't, they'll get out that position quick and then they'll wait till the end of the day while those premiums are cheaper again, to re-enter. But that's for 0 days. Like if you're talking about maybe a couple of days later, I mean, it really just depends on what your plan is. Like, if you're keeping your eye on a stock and at the same time you're saying, okay, I think, you might have a plan for it. And then at the end of the day, you want to wait to the end of the day to swing that position. Then it would be good to possibly get your premiums or get your contracts at the end of the day, because at least you'll have let the day go by and the stock did whatever it had to do, even if it just traded sideways. So maybe you got that contract at a cheaper price than waiting. Okay. I mean, than getting in earlier, if that makes sense. So I hope that answered it.
You wouldn't have burnt up that session, because you would have had to pay for that time had you purchased it earlier, right?
Yes, because it doesn't matter. The thing is with options, right? If Mr. Tony goes and me and Mr. Tony go and get in Starbucks together, right? He buys shares, I buy options, right? We can get in at the same exact price. That, stock can go up. Let's say Starbucks goes up a whole $1, right? We'll both be up substantially, but let's say my option expires at the end of the day, or maybe at the end of the week. Let's say I'm out of the money, right? Let's say the stock hasn't even gotten to my strike yet. So even though, I made money on that move up, as Mr. Tony may still be in the same percentage-wise profitable that he was at the beginning of the day. Me, on the other hand, I may have been up substantially at the beginning of the day, but let's just say that Starbucks was just trading sideways the whole day. And my contract expires the same day or 2 days later, you'll see that contract start to lose value, right? So that's the thing with options.
So even though it's going up, because of the time that the expiration is coming, it's
like a time clock.
Down. Clock. Okay, good. Yeah.
It's like a shot clock. So that's the difference, right? Like, options is a little more, you have to be very timely. Of course, with trading in general, you have to be timely, but options, you have to be even more specific because, I literally I was in a QQQ put. I entered earlier that day, I got stopped out, but I watched that contract go from maybe $3.80 to $3.50, right? Where I bought at was pretty much at the top of the day. That same contract that I paid $3.80 and got stopped out maybe at $3.70. By the end of the day, that stock had fell lower. So that put should have been making more money. However, when I went back to check it, it was actually lower than where I purchased it at earlier. So,
really?
You know,
because it was running out of time, right?
Right. It's running out of time. I didn't even do a 0 day. I did one expire on Friday, but still, you know, as time goes on, that's why I hate choppy markets. If you're going to trade options, you don't trade choppy markets because you're just going up and down, and your premiums are just losing, right? And so, you know, if we don't have a trend, I don't enter. It's just, if like Mr. Tony said, if that stock isn't moving in a timely manner, I'm out, especially if I don't have time because, you know, it's at that point, I'm going to start losing money. And, you know, the worst feeling you can have is telling yourself, all right, I'm going to get out, having your stop losses or whatever in place, and then not following them. And then, you know, you lose out on more money when you could have protected yourself, but just by doing, you know, things that you knew better not to do. So, you know, it's just a little tricky, especially now with the volatility, because we've been so used to those crazy volatile moves up and down. But today, Mr. Tony, I'm sure you can attest to that. Today was a little more different than what we've had the past couple of days, you know, where we've had those nice grind downs, you know, nice grinds up.
No, I was flatlining today, bro.
Yeah, so
slight move up, but not
it caught a lot of people off guard. It caught myself because we've been used to these volatile moves, right? Where you can get 5 red bars, 6, 7, 8 red bars in a row. Yeah. So we're not getting those. We're right now, you know, well, today we were back at just choppiness, and, you know, that could be because of what tomorrow is with the CPI numbers and people not wanting to, you know, go too heavy risk on into that. Because the volume was lower today than it's been all year. So, you know, there's something to, you know, pay attention to when you are choosing to get options, is just to make sure that, you know, when you are entering, that you have a plan to say, okay, if I'm buying this option just for a scalp, then that means it needs to be a scalp, right? And if you're going to buy that option for a swing, then, you know, you might need to wait for the end of the day if you're going to swing it, or, you know, give yourself some time just in case, right? The things with options is we want those cheap options because they're cheap, but there's a reason they're cheap.
That's the reason why it's cheap. So, it's like meat, right? It's a reason the meat is cheap, right?
Yeah, because we got all the fat on it, right? You're going to get what you pay for. So
you did buy that gristle, right?
So just look at options the same way as you would, you know, going to the grocery store. The quality ones, you're going to have to buy a little time on. The ones that's not so, you know, quality, they may make you some money, but just don't stay there long, right? You just get your money and get out.
Thanks so much. I appreciate that. I think I need a stock that I can trade.
Hey, Princess, you know what? I mean, and I know, you know, when you have like smaller accounts, it's tougher because you got to find stocks that are a little bit lesser in price, and they may not have that movement that you want. But the rules apply across the board. So whether you're trading a $10 stock or $100 stock, it's the same rules. So
yes, I'm just looking for the consistency, you know, to be able to generate the income. So yeah.
And then maybe just to kind of build the account. Hey, just trade. You know, if you want to trade, you know, shares. You know, you don't have to buy a round lot all the time. You don't have to buy 100 shares. You can buy, you know, 20 shares, 10 shares. And build it. Heck, if I can if I can build on a bunch of successes, I can get that account where I need to get it to. And I told you guys about that offshore place. I'm not real fond of it. You know, I've heard good things and bad things about it. But you know, I mean, what am I saying? You know, I'd rather you stay here, your TD Ameritrade account, you know, and trade, you know, 25, 50 shares, you know, if you're going to trade some stocks, you know, and they're a little bit pricey, but you're finding your setups, you got your stops real tight, it makes you some money, cool, you bank it away, and you just build on that until you can get it, you know, past that PDT rule.
Don't sleep on compounding. It's real. I didn't believe it. I promise you, I did not believe it. I was trying to go for the big hits all the time, but you got look at it like baseball, right? You got those players that, you know, hit home runs, but you got those good players that, hey, I can get you a single, I can get you a double, I can get you a triple. You know, I might get you a in the park home run, right? But it's you getting those base hits at first, right? Warming up, and then once you get comfortable enough, then you'll hit that home run. It's not going to come like tomorrow, but you doing things the right way consistently, just getting those base hits, you're going to come up on that one play that's going to be like, oh, wow, you know, now my account is, you know, doubled or whatever. You know,
cash, sure.
It happens. It's just 10% here, you know, 10% 10 times is 100%. Do not overlook that.
Yeah. Was it two of the best hitters ever? Was it Tony Gwynn and Rod Carew, right? Those guys they just hit base hits. Every now and then they hit one out of the park. It would just clear the fence, scrape right over the top of the edge of the fence, but they just hit base hits. And they were two of the greatest hitters ever, Rod Carew and Tony Gwynn, you know. So my baseball coaching stuff. All right.
Sure.
All right, guys.
All right, let's see here. Mr. Let me see. Ray is not in here today. He's not. All right. Well, Mr. Tony, you have the floor to close it out.
All right. Well, I don't say prayers as good as Ray, but I just say, Lord, please just continue to bless us, keep us safe, and keep us moving in the right direction. With that, amen. You guys go out there, have a great trading day tomorrow, and just keep the rules. Grab your notepad and write your rules down, right? And just be the fingers. Okay. Just be the fingers. Wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off.
I will. Thank you.
Right.
Good night.
Have a good night, guys.
Have a great night.
Thank you so much.
You're
Good night,
welcome.
everyone.
All right. See you
Good
guys
night.
later. All right. Take care. See you tomorrow in Clubhouse.